While the drama continues in the executive suites of Pierer Mobility, it's still business as usual at KTM, with the announcement of two small-displacement supermoto models in the 125 and 390 SMC R. We're only getting the 390 SMC R in North America, so we'll focus on that model here. KTM actually displayed both SMC R models at EICMA, but didn't have much to say about them until now. As you would guess, the 390 SMC R is based on the same platform as the 390 Duke. The engine is a 399cc liquid-cooled single claiming the same 44 horsepower at 8,500 revolutions per minute and 28 8-pound-feet at 7,000 revolutions per minute as the Duke. The engine is paired with a 6-speed manual transmission with a PASC slipper clutch. The chassis is also based on the latest Dukes with a 2-piece steel trellis frame, but with a different steering head angle, subframe mounts, rigidity profile, and triple clamps. KTM says the changes were made to improve handling, control, and stability. The 390 SMC R comes with two ride modes, the default street mode and sport with a snappier throttle response. KTM made no mention of a rain mode, which the 390 Duke has, but that seems to be the plan for its supermoto models, as the larger 690 SMC R also lacks a rain mode. Traction control comes standard, though it can be disabled if desired. Chassis and suspension. The chassis is also based on the latest Dukes with a 2-piece steel trellis frame, but with a different steering head angle, subframe mounts, rigidity profile, and triple clamps. KTM says the changes were made to improve handling, control, and stability. The 390 SMC R comes with two ride modes, the default street mode and sport with a snappier throttle response. KTM made no mention of a rain mode, which the 390 Duke has, but that seems to be the plan for its supermoto models, as the larger 690 SMC R also lacks a rain mode. Traction control comes standard, though it can be disabled if desired. The front wheel is equipped with a single 320mm disc and bi-bree radial mount 2-piston caliper. The rear brake is a bi-bree single-piston caliper with a 240mm disc. Bi-bree's parent company, Brembo, supplies the 10.3 modulator dual-channel ABS. When riding in sport mode, riders unlock the choice of 3 ABS settings. Road mode offers regular ABS optimized for street use. Supermoto mode turns off rear-wheel ABS, and Supermoto Plus mode allows the rear wheel to lock briefly to help slide around corners. A worthy challenger, the Austrian Mark builds the 390 SMC R on the same 2-piece trellis frame design as the current Gen 390 Duke, but key differences prep the chassis for hooligan behavior. That includes a different steering head angle and rigidity profile, as well as new triple clamps and subframe mounts. Both models tout WP's Apex suspension, but the SMC's 43mm inverted fork and monoshock boost suspension travel to nearly 9.1 inches. It's just as functional, with the front end offering 5 clicks of compression and rebound adjustability, while the rear shock's rebound damping settings total 20 clicks. At both ends, the WE SMC rolls on 17-inch wire spoke wheels wrapped in Michelin's Power 6 tires. Bi-bree brakes bring the small-bore supermoto to a stop, while 2-channel ABS puts 3 settings at the rider's thumb. Within the model's trellis frame resides KTM's liquid-cooled 398cc single. The thumper reportedly produces 45 horsepower and 28 foot-pounds of torque. KTM wasn't reluctant to boast about the 390 SMC R2 ride modes and switchable traction control either. For supermoto supremacy, while the SMC and DRZ will fight over the same territory, each will do so in very different ways. In classic KTM fashion, the 390 will lean on its performance and sporty attitude. Based on the spec sheet, it already ekes out advantages in the engine, chassis, and technology department. Its 6-speed gearbox doesn't hurt its case. While the DRZ4 SM is technically a new model, it isn't a far departure from its predecessor. Sure, it earned fuel injection, ride-by-wire throttle, and a host of other upgrades, but compared to KTM category newcomer, it's practically a known entity. Plus, some will argue for Suzuki's reliability over that of KTM's. But when it comes down to it, pricing will likely determine the success of both models. Unfortunately, Suzuki hasn't announced the DRZ4 SM sticker price.